football today, going through some of the NFL offseason headlines, moves, and questions that are out there. And I think a lot of these divisions have a lot of questions, but the NFC West really jumps off of the page, and perhaps it's because of the San Francisco 49ers, who find themselves at the top in some books, not all books, which right away is a story. They made the decision to pay Brock Purdy. We're a little bit further away removed from that decision. Donnie, how do you feel about San Francisco making Brock Purdy their official franchise quarterback?
I don't mind them making the official franchise quarterback, but I understand, like, I'm not in the front office, so I can't make these decisions, and it seems a lot easier when you're sitting on the couch. We all understand that. But for me alone, Brock Purdy is a starting quarterback. Brock Purdy is above average. Brock Purdy's not nearly worth what they actually paid him for, which is really expensive. So, well, that's the starting grade of a quarterback. I get that. And he's not Daniel Jones. So I don't want to disparage him by saying he doesn't deserve a high-paying contract. When I look at that myself and say, if Brock Purdy's on the open market as an unrestricted free agent and the money we have to pay him, is he worth it to what our future is going to be? And agreed, San Francisco always told you we're going to pay him a lot of money. But what is that going to equate to? Because the best bargain in sports is a professional NFL player who says, I'm a rookie and I'm making under $1 million for 3 to 4 years, and we can spend everybody else's position, above board here so we can win championships. That didn't happen. Now Brock Purdy's making more money than just about every other quarterback in the NFL, and we don't have anything to show for it. How can we show up? And if we have to start losing players, is he good enough to say, he's got Kyle Shanahan. He had 2 legitimate wide receivers, a great offensive line, one of the best running backs in football, and George Kittle, a tight end, and an elite defense, and he still didn't get it done. It might sound like I'm trashing Brock Purdy. I'm not. He's a good quarterback. I'm not paying him anywhere near what he got. That's what I'm saying.
Well, he got $49 million, right?
Yeah.
In that area, and Daniel Jones got $40. I'm okay with the look. I wouldn't pay him $49 million either, Kev. But again, the fact that he's under Dak, he's under some of the other guys like Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow in that area. Again, that's where he should be, because I don't think he's as good, and I wouldn't put him in that category as an elite quarterback. Is he above average? Absolutely. He went from a 7th-round pick and elevated his team to a Super Bowl. Was in contention to potentially win that game. Couldn't get it done and close the door. But at the end of the day, we also saw Brock Purdy last year with critical injuries struggle when the playmakers weren't around him, and that is the cause of concern for this team as a whole. A 10.5 win total. To miss the playoffs, they're plus money at plus 156. We're just expecting Christian McCaffrey to bounce back, from the player that he was a couple of years ago. Same thing with George Kittle. Same thing with Brandon Ayuk. There's multiple concerns about this team on top of Brock Purdy. I just can't buy in. Again, the fact that he got 49, it's okay. If he would have gotten 55, 59, 60, the highest paid, I would have had a problem with it.
Yeah, I think for San Francisco, one of the tricky things is that Brock Purdy used to be their only question, right? Defense was going to be really good. McCaffrey a star. Debo a star. Kittle a star. Is Brock Purdy going to get it done in the biggest game we play of the season, whether that was a conference championship game or a Super Bowl? The questions run a lot deeper. Debo's gone. We'll see if, what they get out of Brandon Ayuk coming off of I believe it's torn ACL. I have no idea what to expect from Christian McCaffrey. I don't think anybody does.
Looks jacked,
quite frankly.
It's been working out, yeah.
I'm sure he has. Can Ricky Pearsall take a step forward? Sure. A step forward to the degree that we at one point saw Debo producing at? I don't know about that. Kittle's getting a little bit older, still really, really good. Same story on Trent Williams, right? But I think Trent Williams is one of the scariest players on that team, in that Trent Williams is almost too important to be that good, that old, but that important is very scary, ultimately, for San Francisco. I think that their ceiling still exists. I just think we saw last year there's a floor, too, which is completely missing the playoffs, and that becomes concerning. Another question within this division is the impact that some receivers could possibly have. Cooper Kupp in Seattle, maybe more notably Devontae Adams in L.A. Do you feel strongly about either receiver and what they can or maybe can't bring, Joe, to their team?
Davante Adams, because, again, if he was the player at the end of the regular season that we saw with the New York Jets and he plays that way with the L.A. Rams, he's going to make them explosive. Again, that was the biggest concern for this team, is that looking for a secondary option outside of Puka Nacua. We sat here how many times in primetime and we were like, can Matt Stafford stop looking and staring down Puka on almost every single passing play? Now with Davante Adams in that lineup, hopefully he could step up and make plays the way he did for the New York Jets. He's got a 950.5 receiving total. He gets close to that or eclipses 1,000 yards, Donnie. They're going to be there as a potential 10 or 11 win football team. The concern I have is sort of, have they plateaued though? You know, I mean, Davante Adams is good. He's still not elite, and does this put them over the edge to potentially challenge the likes of the Philadelphia Eagles as the best team in the conference? Absolutely not.
Yeah, and again, if you can look at, hey, Jalen Carter doesn't come through with a sack in the snow. Maybe it's the Rams that actually win another championship here. Matthew Stafford has a second, but they didn't, and that's you move on to this future. But having said that, though, I think sometimes you get caught up in like the sexy team coming into the season. It's clearly the Rams. Like everybody loves the Rams, but also just to move for Davante Adams. And you sometimes say, look, maybe you don't like Puka Nacua as much, love it even more. Because I didn't think you were getting much out of Cooper Kupp last year, where it's like we have to roll coverage. It was like the Rams knew he was cooked. The rest of the NFL knew he was cooked. Leave him alone. We just have to worry about Puka. And they fed him the football and fed him the football. So now you have Davante Adams. You want to say we're rolling coverage over to Nacua? Adams is going to kill you with with Matthew Stafford's arm next year. So I love the wide receiver aspects, because if you look at Matthew Stafford, like the thoughts are like, hey, he throws for like 40 touchdowns every year. Did you see his statistics last year? They're no doubt going to go up this year, and Davante Adams is going to be a big reason. Whether he catches the football or not, you have to pay attention to him, and that helps the entire offense.
I'm more interested in Cooper Kupp. I'm not saying he's not better, because I still can't get over how that season ended. I feel like we were somehow on air for every single one of their game. Yeah, you can see Donnie lost a couple dollars on Cooper Kupp 40-plus.
He had a half a reception in that San Francisco game, or a half a yard.
Is that 2-2 out there? No.
He went 592 in a score in that light show game against Buffalo. For those that, 44-42. Josh played like the perfect game and still lost. Next game, no catches on 3 targets. 3 catches, 24 yards. 1 catch, 29 yards, regular season done. He has 1 catch for 29 yards against Minnesota. And it's like, what's happening?
He got to 50 in the
he gets to 61 in that game, which, I mean, they were so close. I mean, the Eagles can't count their blessings. I don't know if he's good. Like, I don't know if he is impactful. I don't know how much better he is than MVS, who's on this football team. And also, like, the kind of like underneath wiggle routes. I feel like that's all JSN is supposed to do. So, like, I don't even know what we're really like. What is this wide receiver room they put together in Seattle?
It's intriguing because Sam Darnold's number, I believe, is like 26.5, 27 touchdowns.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. It is. I believe it's up there.
No, it's not. All right.
It might
Guys,
be up
best
there.
bet segment. We got to move some things around. All right. Come on.
I believe it's up there.
So
I'll
he's just
double-check.
certified one of the best players in football
That's
now,
it.
Sam Darnold. All right.
Sam Darnold. Rejuvenation, baby. There you
Looked
go.
good in that last playoff game. He'd still be in Minnesota. He completed 2 passes in that
35
game.
touchdowns last year, 4,000 yards.
You know how many he threw his last 2 games?
Buried in the playoffs.
Yeah, but it was also getting buried against Detroit
His name
in
is
the Week 18.
Darno again. Call him Darno again.
We're going to talk some NFC North next here on SportsGrid.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
playing online blackjack and want to try upping your odds? Well, here's a tip. Cheat cards tell you statistics for whether you hit or stand on every move. If you're into stats, this could be your ticket to winning. And it is totally legal. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
If you're betting $50 a pop, doesn't matter. But if you want to bet $2 or $3 grand each side and literally have plus 110 on both sides, not the worst way to make some money on a Sunday night.
Not at all, right? I mean, and that's amazing. I've never really watched this in real time where you see these odds fluctuate with penalty kicks going on.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
The NFC North is loaded with questions. Kevin Walsh, Donnie Rightside, and Joe Lisi will try and answer them, or at least, figure out what's what early on. And the Lions, to me, are the starting point because it feeds then down to the Bears. My question to you, Lisi, is how concerned are you about Detroit losing both coordinators in Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn in the same offseason?
Well, very concerned. We talked about it with your Philadelphia Eagles a couple of years ago, right? They start 10-1, go 1-5 down the stretch. I'm a big believer, and everybody can tell you, offensive, defensive coordinators, they're in the scheme, they're in the system, they're running the same exact thing. It doesn't matter. You're seeing the game through a different set of eyes. People don't realize, Ben Johnson on first down might want to run the football. Now they might want to utilize play action. You're going to get different play calls in different types of situations, and these coordinators are like pitchers that they have to get into a rhythm, right? It takes a while. Could take a month, could take 2 months till they understand how that talent responds in game situations and they feel comfortable with the game plan. And that's why I can't buy in to the Detroit Lions big picture. They might be a 10 or an 11-win football team. They might win the NFC North, but I can't buy in right now. I think there's a bigger shot that they regress and come back to the pack than they are a 14-win football team. And again, it's nothing against Dan Campbell. It's just that when you have so many moving parts, like coordinators moving on, that's a huge hit to the team offensively and defensively, Donnie.
Yeah, and also they get hit with the double whammy. Like Ben Johnson doesn't go out to take on the Chargers role. Like he's in your division. You play them twice a year. He knows what you love to do, and he loves how to scheme against that. So I find that fascinating because it's easy to take Detroit because you're at talent level, amazing across the board. And if Aiden Hutchinson comes back and is a terror that he was before he got injured, that takes them to the next level. Because I think we can agree, Detroit didn't lose the playoff game or collapse down the stretch because of they didn't want to win. They just didn't have the horses on defense. They couldn't stop Washington. It was like a track meet, and they had so many players injured, their offense just couldn't compete at that point here. So for me, I look at this division and say, yes, Detroit should be up there. Minnesota question marks, we'll get to them. But if we're just looking at the Chicago Bears, well, there's something brewing there. They spent a lot of money. They have a lot of weapons. And the final piece of the puzzle might not just be getting your quarterback here in the draft 2 years ago. It might be Ben Johnson saying, I'm going to make this work. Watch this. 2 great wide receivers, a really good offensive line we invested in, DeAndre Swift in the backfield, Loveland at tight end. What do they not have to succeed here? And they might be the true wild card of that division. As you see the win total at 8.5, Ben Johnson's in town. They're going to be around that, and that's all you can ask for.
Yeah. So I want to just quickly stick on the Detroit piece of it, though, because, and I'm not even really trying to I'm tired out from engaging in debates of fantasy people with bad takes. But for the people who believe Dan Campbell is better than Nick Sirianni, Sirianni came with a background as an offensive coordinator for a team. I'm not sure we even know if Dan Campbell he doesn't have that pedigree. Dan Campbell's pedigree is motivator, leader of men, all those things. And also, Sirianni had experienced turbulence in terms of guys in and out before the situations necessarily. And I know it obviously resulted negatively, right? But like moving around, coordinators is something that he had experienced prior. On top of that, Aaron Glenn leaves as the defense is a disaster. Like the Aiden Hutchins injury is not the only reason that defense was awful. That defense was just not all that good ultimately. And now you add the defensive coordinator leaving. I just think I think the jury is still a little bit more out on how great Dan Campbell is. And I think that is fair. I think, Detroit also has one of the other things they have working against them is a quarterback that people don't trust. And that's not unfair, right? The reality is the Rams moved on from Jared Goff in order to bring in Matthew Stafford and won a Super Bowl and find themselves with a lot of hype again. The hype around Detroit, if someone were to say, hey, I like the Lions and here are my 5 reasons why. I don't even know if Goff would be in the top 5 reasons to necessarily bet on this football team. I just think Detroit has a lot more questions around them. Now, to get to the Bears' point of it, this has to be the most expectations that's ever been put on a football team that has the worst record or the worst odds to win a division I've ever seen. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but they are plus 550 to win this division, and it feels as if the Bears don't make the playoffs, then we're going to – I don't know if Ben Johnson's on the hot seat, but Caleb Williams might be.
Well, this is back-to-back years, 8.5 win totals, right? 8.5 win totals with Caleb and Eberflus last year, and now 8.5 win total with Ben Johnson. And they revamped the offensive line. He got sacked multiple times, 50-plus, 60-plus last year, right? One of the worst in terms of the NFL. And he was a deer in the headlights at specific times. But again, now you bring in the best offensive mind. He gets Loveland, the tight end, that basically Cole Kmet was non-existent towards the end of the regular season last year. And now they have an offensive identity. The question is, and, Ben Johnson hasn't coached a game before in the NFL as a head coach. It's different when you're a coordinator and Dan Campbell's taking on the full responsibilities. Now let's see Ben Johnson step up. He's opening his mouth. He's calling out Matt LaFleur and everybody in the division. You better hit the ground running because everybody's going to be gunning for you week number 1 and beyond. So are they an 8.5, 9-win football team on paper? Yes. But this might be a division where they just beat up each other and maybe they just fall short. Maybe they're 7-11, 7-10, and 6-11. I just can't buy into them year number 1 with Ben Johnson.
But what I am buying into the Bears, if you don't want to buy into the win total, buy into them on the points on a week-to-week basis. Because the one thing that we do know, and he learned under Dan Campbell, and was part of that, was I'm going to be really creative. I'm going to be ultra-aggressive, which means you might have some big swings in those games. And also, talking about Caleb Williams, one of the more talented quarterbacks coming out of college. He's basically telling everybody last year, like, I don't even know how to watch film. I sit in a dark room and I put the TV on and nobody helps me. You now have the mad scientist in town to help you and say, you know what? Watch all these routes where everybody is wide open. Let's have fun.
Yeah.
One of the things that I don't want to say it's an all-time what if, but it's a fascinating what if the Bears did not give up that Hail Mary to Jaden Daniels.
True.
Yeah, it is.
They would have been 5-2. Yep. Instead, that was the first.
Bottom out.
10 straight losses until they won in Week 18.
Yeah.
10 straight losses. I'm not saying they would have won a Super Bowl, but they would have been the ones in the conference championship instead of the command. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying, would that team have won 9 games? Were they always going to fall off? Would Eberflus still be their head coach? It's just one of those things. The Vikings have a new quarterback. What is Green Bay doing? We'll talk about it next.
There's now 7 different directors of analytics for like the Raptors, the Chiefs, where you can see us all like workshopping these ideas in these threads because golf is so ubiquitous amongst gamblers. And so that was like the most popular non-poker forum was the golf sub forum. And then once we started thinking about once I realized in 2013 that Brody's book was coming out, I just thought stroke chain putting was it.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
I'm saying I like their odds because I think they're insane at this point, but I do think they are a very viable option.
I don't even think their odds are that insane, honestly. They won 64 games.
So you like this move for them?
Well, so the odds...
Regardless of the odds, just from a basketball.
Yeah, the odds have nothing to do with it. They won 64 games. They were eliminated by the Pacers, who lost Halliburton. The other 60-win team was the Celtics, and they lost Tatum. Like I think,
and the Knicks don't have a coach.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
You want to take that gap year and trade LeBron James somewhere and get value, legitimate value for a 41-year-old player, LeBron James, I still think, in return. I think you have to explore that because if LeBron wants to win a title, we've heard so much buzz for, I think, 3 or 4 years now, Kevin, about Stephen Curry and LeBron James wanting to eventually play together. This might be that moment here. If you're the Golden State Warriors, why not make that call? I think that's something to watch out for.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
All right, back with everybody here on Pro Football Today. And J.J. McCarthy is one of the biggest questions in all of football this season because he enters into a football team that last year started Sam Darnold, not a highly regarded quarterback. They win 14 games. Darnold throws 35 touchdown passes, tacks on 4,300 passing yards. And yes, they were eliminated in round number 1, but they also in week 18 had a chance to be the number 1 seed in the entire NFC. In comes J.J. McCarthy, drafted as a top 10 quarterback, top 10 player by the Minnesota Vikings for his first ever NFL starts off of a torn ACL. And oh, by the way, was a confounding prospect because at Michigan, he was a game manager, essentially, not lighting the world on fire. 3650.5 is his passing yard total. Again, he replaces a guy who threw 4,300 yards. 24.5 is his passing touchdown total. Considering some of the other numbers we referenced, that's not a low number, right? For perspective, Jaden Daniels has the same exact passing touchdown prop. Is J.J. McCarthy good? A top 10 quarterback? Where are you on J.J. McCarthy?
I need to see it before I believe it. Again, those are Sam Darnold type of numbers, right? And when you just see what he was able to do last year, and to your point, 35 touchdown passes, 4,000 yards, they're expecting J.J. McCarthy to basically duplicate almost 80 to 85% of the production that Sam Darnold had, a veteran quarterback in his third or fourth team. I just don't see it. Coupled with the fact that Jordan Addison now potentially has off-the-field issues. He might be suspended potentially for 3 games with a DUI. You take him out of that lineup that runs the secondary routes and everything underneath. They're going to double-team Justin Jefferson, and that leaves potentially T.J. Hawkinson as your main offensive weapon, with secondary wide receivers. There's going to be growing pains. We saw it with Caleb Williams. Jaden Daniels is the outlier when it relies in terms of quarterbacks and rookie quarterbacks, right? And even though JJ is a second-year guy, he hasn't made an NFL career start outside a preseason game. And to your point, he was basically a game manager for the most part in a run-heavy offensive attack in Michigan. Now they're expecting him to be the guy. Again, there's going to be growing pains. 8.5 win total. I would sell it to the under. I would sell both totals, the passing touchdowns and the total yardage. I just don't see it in year number 1. Aaron Jones is a year older. His rushing total is only 740. He rushed for 1,000 yards. The book is basically telling you they're going to be a pass-heavy offense, and JJ is going to light it up. Again, I'd rather be wrong. I'm selling early.
O'Connell's a really good offensive coordinator, good offensive head coach. That's what you have with J.J. McCarthy. And also, he's not a true rookie, so he's been in the system, just hasn't had those, live bullets flying. But also, Joe's right at this point. Like, this isn't the 1987 guy who just won the Rose Bowl coming in the NFL like, hey, I'm a great team leader. I threw for 1,600 yards in college, but we won the national championship. You're expected to deliver in that pocket and deliver big time here. We're not doubting it because they drafted him for a reason, and an offensive coordinator in O'Connell that says, you know what, this is my guy, that says something a lot about it. But the expectations coming into the season where it wasn't Timmy Chang in college, like, hey, man, he's going to sling it all over the place from a pro-style offense. He was a run-first offense guy, and I always get a kick out of where they go to Penn State, and it was the greatest win they ever had with Harbaugh not there. And it's like, well, this quarterback is so good, you didn't want him to throw the football the entire second half? Like, I do have questions as well. Do I think he could be a good quarterback? Yes. Am I betting money for him to win the division or have a great season? No, I'm not. Sometimes you just have to prove it to me, and that's where McCarthy's in the case for me.
Just want to say, last year, the NFC North was dominant, right? Heading into the playoffs, right? Didn't we say that?
Well,
they're
Packers, Vikings.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Could this now be a regression? They're more like the NFC South than they are the North of last year?
Yeah.
Because I think they're going to beat each other up this year.
Well, I think they were turned out to largely be frauds. They sent 3 playoff teams. They won 0 playoff games.
Right.
They played the AFC South. They all beat the Chicago Bears. And they, I believe, played the NFC West, which ended up having a down season because San Francisco wasn't good. I mean, I know that sounds harsh, but that's a part of that puzzle. The other thing for J.J. McCarthy is to remember what Minnesota's expectations were last season coming into the year. They were supposed to be a team in between 4 and 7 wins. So, what's different year over year? They've made the offensive line a lot better, and that's where I think a lot of the optimism comes from for this football team. Let's stick with the quarterback conversations. We have some markets for who will be the starting quarterback with plus money in one of the more interesting quarterback competitions we could see. That's next right here on SportsGrid.
We all know a night out at the club in Vegas can get a little bit pricey, but I've got a tip that can save you a cover fee at some of the hottest nightclubs. All you have to do is sign up online for free with a credible guest list service. Then, just show up before 10:30 and check right in. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
some quarterback battles expected around the league. Admittedly, don't bring a lot of excitement in terms of the names. I guess that's kind of how it goes. You don't really get stars competing for jobs. But you do get a race that features 4 names, all at a plus price. Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders. Who will be the Browns' Week 1 starting quarterback? Donnie, you said you love this one. What are you thinking?
I love it because the fact of the matter is you look at this, and sometimes you have to put it in its place and say, all right, how is it supposed to play out? Well, a healthy franchise goes, you know what? We're going to stink this year. So do I put an aging veteran in there who's going to do nothing for my future? Yes, that's what we're going to do at a plus 110 price as we look at this point right now. So for my money, I say to myself, all right, I don't want to do that here. You know what should happen? You should have Joe Flacco at 15-1 to start Week 1, and the 2 young quarterbacks at plus 120 a piece, let's just say, plus 100, plus 120. Because what are you getting out of the Cleveland Browns this year? Let's just say, like, Joe Flacco starts Week 1. I'm going to guarantee you right now, by Week 5, they're 1-4 at best, maybe 0-5 at that point. So then you say, okay, we're going to Kenny Pickett. He's going to lose 3 straight games. They go, oh, no, now it's our future. Like, what are we actually doing with the Cleveland Browns? What are we doing?
I don't know what the Browns are doing. I'll just
Well,
say
they're
this.
0-8. What's your pivot?
Yeah.
I think they're going to I do think they could get over their win total this year. I will say that. But I'll say this.
No.
Dylan Gabriel has no shot to start. So just cross him off the list at 5-1. My money would be on Kenny Pickett at 2-1. And the reason why I say that is because Kenny Pickett only had basically 1 starting role, and that was in Pittsburgh. He's basically a backup and was to Jalen Hurts, and he's still a young quarterback. So potentially, you know what you have in Joe Flacco. We got you to a playoff game a couple of years ago and got smacked by C.J. Stroud in Houston. He's the backup for this organization, and have him and Shedeur battle it out. But Kenny Pickett, if he is at least above average, he has the potential to have, let's just say, a Sam Darnold or a Baker Mayfield type of trajectory where maybe you catch lightning in a bottle and he could be your quarterback for the next 2 or 3 seasons. I'm just saying, you get him on the cheap.
But that is the dumbest quarterback room in the NFL.
Oh, I agree.
It's so ill thought about the way they went about it. And this isn't a team that's like, we're the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's get the 9 wins this year. This team's win total is 5.5. And if it's 5.5, you go, Dylan Gabriel, you're going to get 8 games. Shedeur Sanders, you're getting 9. The better quarterback, he's going to end up being the starting quarterback next year. If you both stink, we're going right back to the draft, and Arch Manning is going to be our quarterback. The fact that you're going to start a veteran quarterback in Joe Flacco Week 1 when your fan base says, what is the prognosis of the season?
No, I don't think they're starting Joe Flacco. I don't believe that. I know he's the front runner right now. I just believe
self-preservation mode.
Again, he's the backup, I believe. I think it's going to be one of the other 3.
I think the only reason Flacco is in minus money is because he may not be on the team. Flacco initially opened as like the 4th best odds. Flacco started a playoff game for this team.
Yes.
Not that long ago.
I know.
He's very much so the guy that they would give the job to if he was on the team. The reality, though, is the whole thing is a disaster.
They still have Deshaun Watson on the roster. I'm just saying.
Says he's healthy.
He's
ready.
He's going to take Shedeur under his wing.
One of the problems with the Gabriel Shedeur thing is both picks ended up getting so much attention, right? That it's like, all right, we'll give a rookie a chance and see if they're good. How good are either one of those guys going to be to stop you from just drafting a rookie next year? They put 2 draft picks into the quarterback position. They're going to start Joe Flacco and draft the kid next year in the top 5. That's crazy. So the whole thing's a disaster anyway. I ultimately think that Flacco has the job unless he gets traded away. And they're going to have to trade away one of Flacco or Pickett to make room for the 2 quarterbacks that they drafted.
You have a 2-time Coach of the Year in Kevin Stefanski that got the most out of Joe Flacco, who, by the way, has more 300-yard passing games in a Browns uniform than Deshaun Watson that they gave basically $281 million. The problem is that, again, is it any different, though, when you say it's the worst? It's not any different than the New York Giants. They brought in Jameis. They brought in Russell. They draft Jackson Dart. Okay, Jackson Dart, for the most part, should be the starter. He's the rookie. Why did you bring in Russell and Jameis if you were going to draft a quarterback in the draft?
Yeah, but that organization gets taken off the plate because they have a bozo owner and a general manager and a coach that are just looking to win 3 football games and say, we did it, guys, and they'd be back next year. Like, that's the anomaly is the Giants. But you're right, though. Like, you look at the Giants roster compared to Cleveland, you just want a clear path. What is your game plan? Like, is it Russ is going to play the entire season, you're going to be bad, and then you don't get your rookie quarterback in there? It's the same thing with the Cleveland Browns. Same thing.
I would bet Kenny Pickett 2-1. I think he's going to be. I think he gives the team the best opportunity to start. They lose games in the first month of the season. They could always go to one of the rookies. Again, I don't think it's Dylan Gabriel in any capacity. If you watch the playoff loss to Ohio State, he looked like a deer in the headlights.
Why did they draft him over Shador then?
I
You say
have
it's
no
absolutely
idea.
can't be
I
it.
don't know. I really don't know.
The craziest thing to me is that there's arguably only one team in the league that had Gabriel ahead of Shador on their big board, and it was the team that also drafted Shador. Like, I still cannot figure that whole thing out. Can we just bring up the Colts quickly?
Love it.
Yes.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Chris Ballard is now in first place for worst GM in the league because I've never seen someone clearly not understand the things he's saying. They draft Anthony Richardson. They go, listen, man, we know this kid's raw. We got to give him time. He only started a handful of college games. And Anthony Richardson now in year number 3, who has appeared in 15 NFL games, is going to lose out on the job to Daniel Jones. Okay, yeah, so Ballard should be fired immediately.
Well,
no idea what he's doing.
well-
The whole thing. No, I'm sorry. I know I set it up to you. Thought you had a chance to talk. You know, no, not yet. You're saying, Donnie, give 19 games to the 2 young kids in Cleveland.
Yes, correct.
Why would anyone other than Anthony Richardson be the starting quarterback every single game in Indianapolis?
You're right. That's exactly like till the wheels fall off. Put him out there. I don't even care if he can. My leg hurts. Get back out there. Like, you're getting 17 games. You're good. We'll keep you. You're bad. We know you're bad, and we can move on. So the fact, and also, by the way, he's a minus 130 now. Can he throw the football? Like,
that's the
we're not
problem.
even getting like Joe. We're not even getting like reports that he's going to be in training camp, and now he's the favorite again.
Yeah, I would bet Daniel Jones minus 106, and it's
he can't
strictly.
start.
It's
Why is he
strictly-
starting?
But it's strictly,
I'd rather Riley Leonard.
Here's the thing: you're talking about a team potentially built for a playoff run if you get above average, competent quarterback.
I think team
play.
ain't
That's
built
the
for a
bottom
playoff
line.
run. Get out of here.
Anthony Richardson completed 47% of his passes. I mean, it's pathetic.
And I'd still rather him than
roll him
Daniel
out there. The
Jones.
guy can't hit a 5-yard out. I mean, come on, he can't.
I mean, Richardson's hitting the top of his head on plays, man. So get me out of here.
The problem is the shoulder injury is enough to say, I'm not taking a shot. I'm not rolling the dice, giving him first-team reps.
Well, what's he doing on the roster then if you're not even going to give him a shot at being a starter?
Daniel Jones' biggest selling point is his athleticism.
His biggest
and
selling
the other
point
option is
he's
Anthony
a
Richardson.
team-friendly deal.
He's not a good one,
Yeah.
though.
He's still better than they are.
No, he's not. I don't think so.
Look, I love Anthony Richardson in terms of the
You
athlete.
don't.
As an
No,
athlete.
you don't.
No,
you don't.
Cut it out.
No, stop.
Cut it out.
I'm a Dolphins fan. No,
He did make me money against the Jets. 4.5-point dog, 272, and 2 touchdowns on the ground. I bought into him that day. I did. He won the game outright against Aaron Rodgers. If we could get that week to week to week,
He's
I'd buy
gotta play,
into
though.
Anthony
Like,
Richardson
like,
every week. He's hurt.
Why
He
wouldn't they
doesn't
just
even know
play
if
him, though?
His shoulder's going to be
But
there.
why wouldn't they, if he's healthy, just run him out there every single week because you'll know if he stinks or he isn't good and you can move on and say, we gave him an entire year, guys. What do you want?
You have one of the best running backs in the league in Jonathan Taylor.
So
You
trade
gotta have
him.
No. Trade who?
Jonathan Taylor.
No.
Why is he on this football team? They're not good. Why is he on this team for what?
I'll say this. If
You want to bet this team to make the playoffs?
Yes,
He does.
With
Daniel Jones?
Yeah, I'll take
Man,
the
come
shot.
on now.
I'll take the shot. Yeah.
Shane Steichen, Coach of the
He
Year
did. Why
tickets?
not?
Guy reappears on the
8-9.
network after the Super Bowl making these brash announcements.
All I know is
Amazing.
you can't have a quarterback that can't hit a 10-yard out.
Neither one can, though.
Daniel Jones.
By the
is
way,
the
Daniel
other.
Jones' best attribute was that he signed a contract that you could escape in 2 years. Like, that's his claim to fame.
I don't love Daniel Jones. He's a significant upgrade.
No, he's not.
Yeah, who
He's a
would've got-
downgrade. Oh,
Who they play
we're
week
only
one?
getting
Who they got week
started.
one?
We'll be right back.
let's get down to business with the particulars. The Pittsburgh Steelers will get Jalen Ramsey into their defensive backfield. They'll get Jonnu Smith.
All this talk I'm hearing about they're going to trade T.J. Watt, that's not happening either. Okay, so I don't think that's even remotely in the cards. All this talk today, he's next. I don't believe that. I think they're going to give him a new deal.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Lonzo Ball, I guess, Chicago, they've just, kind of had enough here. Traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. What do you make of him being healthy? You think there's a chance? I mean, that's kind of the key.
What you said with all these guys re-signing kind of speaks to the landscape of free agents this year. Most of the guys, there isn't that much money out there to be had. I think the Nets are the only team that actually have cap space and can sign anybody outright.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Will Aaron Judge be at the top of the home run board in MLB? What say you?
Judge probably is going to hit 55, 58. Somewhere around there is his number there. So I'll say I'm going to buy this. Aaron Judge will lead the major leagues in home runs this year. Listen, I'm not breaking news. I probably would take that every year. And when he plays, these next couple until he's getting up there in age, until his bat does start to slow down.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
When you're around the holidays, right? Sometimes you fill up on junk food, right? You loosen the belt a little bit. That's kind of what we're doing here. We've got Sell Me Something the rest of the way.
Wow. Oh, boy.
AKA the lifeblood of this program, AKA what is on Joe Lisi's mind.
Yeah.
And I
Does he
can't
understand
wait.
the segment?
I was understanding the segment towards the end of the regular season. Everybody loved me with those, huge parlays we were putting together.
He was giving out. He was every quarterback in the playoffs to score a touchdown. He did have people excited. We're going to do a Sell Me Something on a player and then a Sell Me Something on a team. We're going to start with the team. Joe, what do you got?
Yeah, so we talked about the NFC West. We talked about the question marks in terms of L.A. and San Francisco. I'm not buying in to Sam Darnold in Seattle. I like Arizona, and they're coming with a huge price right now of plus 430, 440 to win the NFC West. You have a veteran quarterback in Kyler Murray. I believe in Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, James Conner. I believe in the defensive playmakers that they got in the draft to elevate this unit to potentially be a playoff caliber team. They won 8 games last year. 430 for the Cardinals to win the NFC West? Give it to me, baby. What do you mean I don't understand it?
Now,
I'm selling it. Yeah, I'm selling
Now,
myself.
this just sounds like a Connor bet to me right now. Is it like you love James Conner, so therefore you just got to take Arizona?
Bet James Conner every week.
Come on. Now, I'm hearing this. Like, I've been hearing little snippets about James Conner here and there, and then the Cardinals just pop up on the card. I'm going to dig into this a little more.
It's not
but
great
why do you
value.
like
Plus
them this
4,
year, though?
I just told you, I believe in Gannon. I think this team is going to close the gap. I'm not sold on the other two teams. What is so funny about
You believe in Gannon?
Yeah.
I do. I like him as a head coach.
You're hot on Gannon and Steichen, the 1-2 combination.
I don't think they did a bad job. I think in terms of Indianapolis, it was a quarterback situation. We'll see how they address that. But for me, what they were able to do in the draft and what they were able to do towards some of the better teams, went toe-to-toe with the Rams at the end of the year. They beat San Francisco earlier in the season. It does hinge on Kyler Murray. They went in and won some difficult road games. They won in Miami. They went toe-to-toe with Buffalo week number 1 and covered as a 6.5-point dog. I mean, they have potential. Can they take the next step? And if you believe that it's going to be basically a 500 division, with every team maybe at 9-8 or 10 wins wins it, why not the 440 price?
It's a good price. No, it is a good price on them. And again, Joe's right. That hot team in the Rams, how do they fare this year? San Francisco, a lot of question marks. Sometimes it takes that team coming on the up and up. We'll see. But it's all Kyler Murray. Can he stay healthy? Can he stay engaged? Stay offline and play football? You know what I mean? Come on.
Well, what's the
Call of Duty action? You know what I mean?
Fortnite.
Yeah.
There you go. So you're laughing, you're giggling over there.
Yeah.
Kevin's giggling.
Again, it just seems like we should have just put a picture up of James Conner every bet on the board.
Because
knock it down.
It's Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh, that one
That's
now,
your
too?
excitement.
Is that it?
Look, I expect a bounce
Dortch
back
to Torch?
here. Dortch is good.
Yeah,
Wake
all right.
Forest.
Yeah, no doubt about it. DRS, what do you got for the people here?
Look, we keep it simple here. Again, plus money, we love to see it right here. Everybody hates the Dallas Cowboys every single year. Yes, the Dallas Cowboys to throw one touchdown the entire season, bang it. That great thing. But no, the Dallas Cowboys. Coming back this season, Dak Prescott, I do think is a good quarterback. He's a great regular season quarterback. I think the numbers will be there. Love the Pickens move. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb healthy this year. That's the expectations. You finally get yourself a legitimate running back, and we'll see what we can do. But understand this. The Dallas Cowboys are notorious for not winning much here once they get to the playoffs. And I like this angle because I do think the Dallas Cowboys are on pace for 9.5 to 10.5 wins in that range, which would put them in the playoffs. Now, here's the caveat on the bet I'm going to make. I don't think they're going to be the number one overall seed in the playoffs, which means, Kevin, that gets you right through to the divisional round there. You skip the wild card round. So if the Dallas Cowboys make the playoffs, I don't think they win the division. Therefore, they'll be on the road in the wild card, and that's where I think they struggle and take a loss. And how about this price for that? A plus 470 to make the playoffs, then lose in your first playoff game in the wild card round. They're a talented team. They'll make the playoffs, but when the pressure really builds, they don't perform. And if I think they're going to be on the road in the playoffs, which means they'll be an underdog, I'll take that price point right now, plus 470. The Dallas Cowboys make the playoffs, get beat in the wild card round.
Stages of elimination. I mean, it's not a bad bet. Again, I don't think Dallas is built for a championship run. So the plus 470 price makes sense if you believe that they're going to make the playoffs. If you want to take a shot on over 9.5 wins, plus 220 as well, that's pretty good value. I just have concerns, Kev, by their defense. I don't even know if Micah and that defense can elevate with Schottenheimer as a first-year head coach to get them to potentially 8-9, so I'm a little bit hesitant. But we know Dak, he loves to compile during the regular season.
Let me ask you a quick question, though, on this for both of you. Michael Parsons, are we worried he's going to show up to training camp?
It's a concern.
Like he's supposed to get the biggest contract in the history of defensive players. That could be a big deal.
My expectation is Dallas will wait as long as possible, making it easy for Parsons to get him paid as much as possible, and then they'll pay him.
12:50 Eastern time.
Stay in the highlights every single day. Questions there. Jerry loves it. Boom, they swoop in and give him a big deal.
I really like this bet.
Oh, wow.
I love this bet.
Oh,
wow.
We'll get. I was talking about Donnie's bet. I think it's a really creative way to play Dallas positively. Unless you're like way in on this team, right? Which I don't know how many people are going to get to that point, because the with the new playoff format, and Donnie, unless they are the 1 seed, you're live.
Yes.
And odds are, let's just say they're the 2 seed. I know that's not what you're expecting, Donnie, right? But I don't think the money line on the team they would be facing in the 2-7 will still be plus 470.
Correct.
So
Yes.
I think it's a really, really interesting market. Look, this one is straightforward. And it's interesting. It's almost chalk, but I think it should be shorter. Saints to have the fewest wins at plus 425. So we did the starting quarterback thing. Tyler Shuck is minus 310. That's crazy. Tyler Shuck was a round 2 pick who bounced around college football.
Yeah, but who else would be on that team? He should be a minus 30,000 on that football team the week
I'm
one.
not sure he's that much better than Spencer Rattler. I don't know. I mean, I know Rattler didn't show himself well, but at least he has experience under his belt.
Week one, best bet, Arizona minus the 4.5 over the Saints.
I just
take it.
Where, home away? Where are we at?
They're on the road.
But think about that. I mean, that right there. Listen, I'm not even messing with your Arizona law. The Cardinals are comfortably over a field goal favorite at New Orleans. That team should be shorter than plus 425 to have the fewest wins. Let's talk player props and close it out on Pro Football Today.
Here's a tip. Let's say you bet big on a 4-game moneyline parlay. Your first 3 bets have hit, but you're a little nervous about the last game. Consider placing a separate bet against the team you have winning in your parlay. You're technically a winner either way. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Sell Me Something Part 2. Kevin Walsh, Donnie Rightside, Joe Lisi. Donnie?
Wow.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I feel about what Mr. Lisi's bringing to the table.
Oh, well.
I don't know how the segment
motives.
works.
There's always motives.
I don't know how the segment works.
Yep, you don't know how it works.
No, I don't know.
All right, so sell me something, Joe, player style.
So here's the thing. We know the best team on paper, and in my opinion, is the Philadelphia Eagles. We know they had the most dominant rushing attack in 2024. We talked on this desk at length about how there's going to be more offensive balance and they're going to throw the football. A.J. Brown. 1,250 receiving yards plus 180.
I'm surprised not a minus 125 on this. You know?
It's not minus 1. It's plus 180. Juicy. Now, he did eclipse this last year, along with a multitude of other wide receivers.
Now, you almost got yourself thrown off the desk for trying to back a certain team in the NFC Championship game. Now we got A.J. Brown right off the bat, so here we go.
So why does this bother you?
It does.
I just said
Let's go.
Here, a multitude of wide
Did you just say he eclipsed this last? He did not.
I don't know.
You adding the playoff run?
I don't
what are you
know.
doing?
What does that say?
At 1079.
I don't know.
Because he only played 13
I'm getting bad
games.
info.
Yeah, you look at that.
Getting bad info.
I mean, what is that? You Starlink on that? Where is that?
AI. Bad info. I still like it even more.
AI. Give me a bet to make on the Pro Football Today show today.
Quick.
Oh, look at this
I was
bet I
looking
got.
at his stats. Several NFL receivers surpassed
this guy
the
asks AI
1250
every
mark
week.
in 24.
Is Grok giving you your... No, come on, dude.
I was asking for his stats.
Whoa, I just got a stat from Adam Schlechter here. Let me use this.
Oh, my goodness, man.
I like it.
I like the plus 180.
Now's the point where he goes, he likes it even more now.
I do.
Yep, there you
That's
go.
it.
Yep.
I mean, it is a bounce back spot. As long as he stays healthy, you are in the clear. We've talked about Philly throwing it more. I don't know. It's just I would bank on it. It's a bounce back spot. Not he did it last year when he didn't do it. That's all.
Okay.
That is bad intel.
That is bad intel.
Yeah.
Bad. I'm going to write Microsoft.
Right,
I asked for a quick update. I got. That's it.
Indeed, A.J. Brown.
No, NFL receivers 1,250 in 2024.
It's good.
It's a legitimate question.
Yeah.
They must have went to 23-24 season. All right. DRS player style. What do you got here?
Yeah, we're going Puka Nacua here. Now, Puka Nacua did not get 1,250 receiving yards last year, but you know what? He is going to eclipse that this year. But that's not my bet. Puka Nacua last year, 79 catches for 990, missed a good portion of that season. And it was apparent by the end of that year, nobody could stop this guy. And Matthew Stafford loves this guy. So now you might say, like, oh, no, another good wide receiver is in town. It's going to take away from what he likes. Not the case, people. Puka, 16-1, NFL Offensive Player of the Year. And you love that.
Was he reading off teleprompter
Why?
with the multitude. I can't get over. He eclipsed it last year with a multitude of wide receivers.
Look at that. Read them all. Read all the lines.
Wait,
What's it got? Mike Quick
This
on
is
there?
what
Who
they
else?
said. In 2024,
Art Monk?
Chase Jefferson, St. Brown, A.J. Brown, Devontae Adams, C.D. Lamb. It's like 12 guys.
Did Cortland Sutton get 1250?
I
That's
don't
pretty
know.
good.
I know who did get 12.
Let's see, where was Cortland
Drake
Sutton at?
London
Where's
got
Cortland Sutton
1250
at?
on
Hold
two.
on.
Where's the
Drake
Even
London.
out there?
What do you think about the Puka Nacua Offensive Player of the Year,
Yeah,
Joe?
come on, man. Get on
I
board.
mean, the number one option. I mean, again, he's gonna catch 100 passes, and with Devontae Adams in that lineup, it's great. I mean, the question is, are they gonna have
Killing the
offensive?
Cardinals out there, Joe.
Devontae hasn't had 1250 since 2022. That is some program you're running.
There it is.
That algorithm is
AI
broken.
algorithm.
Whoa!
Sees it.
Cam Ward,
got De'Ami
4,000
Brown in
passings plus 600. Come on now. He threw for this at Miami, I'm pretty sure, year over year. Checks the box. They're going to be losing a bunch of games. That's a lot of throwing,
4,000.
Donnie. That's right up your alley.
That is right up my alley right here. We'll see if he
You're talking
stays
about
healthy.
Miami now.
6-1. Yeah, Miami.
What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
4,000
Kind of
yards,
slice that.
6-1. You're knocking the Hurricanes. There you go.
I was hot
He
on
throws
that
for
Canes
4
team.
bills. Are they making the playoffs? My goodness.
I'm thinking it means what if
Jeez.
he's just bad? What if they're just bad? I mean, he's not bad, but what if they're bad? He has to throw
Their
it a
wide
lot.
receiver
can.
is horrible.
Okay.
Burke?
Isn't he going to have to? What do you want to hand it off to
Traylon
Tony
Burke?
Pollard? If he
I
plays
do.
17 games, it's 235 yards a game. That doesn't sound too bad, does it?
Who they got week number 1, by the way?
Let's take a look.
Because that's going to be the litmus test for me.
Denver,
In or out?
7-point dogs.
Ooh, tough one. That's a tough one.
Where's
Taking
the game?
points
In Denver? What do you think he throws for that game?
170.
17 and 3 picks. AI told me.
Yeah.
All right, for Joey Grock, Donnie Rightside, and Kevin Walsh, this has been your Pro Football Today holiday special. What
it
a
was
treat.
special.
We'll see you when the season starts.
We all thought that hire made by the Knicks would be big and splashy and can live on the marquee here in the Big Apple.
He's kind of walking into a situation where he's on the hot seat right away. And you don't see this very often in sports, where somebody walks into a job and it's like, yo, you're immediately on the hot seat. Like, if this is sideways by Christmas.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Tony Gwynn had 107 career at-bats against Greg Maddux. Never struck out once.
Oh, that's nuts.
In 107 times. 107. Cam, if you took the modern player and said, are you going to face Maddux 107 times in a row? Like Vlad Guerrero Jr. and these guys, they'd strike out like 62 times type thing.
Exactly.
They'd be like 80 times. They'd be like whiffing.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
5-year contract. It's just, I bring it up only because who cares, Scott? It's just mine. Jaren Jackson Jr., good player. Don't get me wrong. $50 million a year. You know, we all bitch and complain about the Juan Soto deals and the Ohtani deals, and you get guys like Jaren Jackson making $50 million a year.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.